Hey everyone, Jason from Actifio, and today we're talking Actifio 10C once again with Mike Salins. Today we're going to talk about SQL Mount Migrate. So Mike, welcome back, and can you tell us a little bit about this new feature in Actifio 10C?
Sure. Well, SQL Mount Migrate is exactly what the name makes it sound like.
Okay.
It's the ability to take a SQL Server database, do a mount from Actifio to any server, just like we've been doing for years, but then to migrate it while it's online and operational over to some other storage.
Okay.
Think of it as being very analogous to a VMware storage vMotion,
Gotcha.
where an online set of data can be migrated.
Gotcha. Okay. So why would a customer want to do this?
That's a great question. There's really two use cases where customers want this feature.
Okay.
One is in recovery. They've got a production SQL Server, it's become corrupted, they need to roll it back to a previous point in time. Nothing matters more at that point than recovery time. So they'll do a mount from the Actifio appliance to their SQL Server, bring it online. Now, because this is a recovery, they do need to move the data back to the original storage. This feature allows them to do that without that outage that they would normally be waiting the entire duration for a copy. The other scenario is a customer wants to make a copy of a database and it's going to be permanent.
Okay.
They're going to use it on some server indefinitely, and therefore they don't want to just run it from a mount from the Actifio appliance like they would if they were just going to use it for hours or days or even weeks or months.
Gotcha.
And in that scenario, again, they might be using it actively and later decide, you know what, I want to migrate this, I'm going to keep it forever. And this allows that migration to take place without an extended outage, especially for large databases.
Okay, makes sense to me. Great. So can you walk us through a little bit what this would look like or how a customer would actually execute this?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So the way that the feature works, if you start out, you have a SQL Server with a database on it, stored on the storage allocated to that SQL Server. You have an Actifio Sky, and the Sky has made a copy of that database into its snapshot pool.
Okay.
The customer says, I would like to do a mount and access this database right away. And just like we've been doing for years, we'll present that over to the server, we'll create the database, and we'll bring it up and online.
Yep.
That whole process takes a matter of minutes. At that point, any point from that point forward, the user can say, I'd like to migrate it. And what we'll do is, using the Actifio connector that's already on that server, we will take consistent point-in-time snapshots of this database and copy them onto the designated storage where they'd like the copy to go.
Okay.
The first time this copy takes place is, of course, a full copy of the database, but this is an iterative, repeated process, and it's going to be just the deltas after the first one.
Okay.
So one full, followed by an incremental, and an incremental, and an incremental.
Like we'd always do up here.
Just like we do for the backups, exactly, but it's in the opposite direction now, from Actifio to the server's storage.
Okay.
That process is repeated on a schedule that the user picks. Maybe it's once an hour, maybe it's once a day. At some point, they're going to say, I'm ready to do this final cutover, if you will. We call it a finalize. And so they'll initiate a finalize. That will actually take the database down, do one last delta-based synchronization, and then bring it up from their storage.
Okay.
And finally, remove the links or the disk presentation from Actifio and clean up any resources that were being consumed.
Gotcha. And then bring up the database.
And bring up the database.
Perfect. Awesome. So makes sense to me. Thank you again, Mike. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
If you want to learn more, head to our website, actifio.com. You can also check out the other Actifio 10C videos that we'll be shooting. Thanks for watching.